Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Gloria's Estates Jewelry. We have a wonderful tutorial for you tonight. After our last tutorial, which was how to clean and care for your gold jewelry, the #1 most requested show was how to clean and care for your silver jewelry. Now, it is partially the same, but silver incorporates more of a dual level on cleaning. So not only are you looking at certain pieces and having to clean the dirt and the debris and everything else on it, but also how to remove that tarnish, which can easily accumulate on your silver jewelry. Now, if it stays in a box and it stays in tarnish-proof bags on tarnish-proof paper, you're going to have a lot more success. But if something you're going to wear consistently and constantly, honestly, it's very, very difficult to remove tarnish without using some of these tricks and tips. And these are varied all the way from stuff that we use all the time to kind of experimental stuff that we don't do very often, but why not try it out tonight? So let's start with our standard of how to clean silver. Well, essentially it is exactly the same as cleaning your gold jewelry. In fact, we're going to use our beautiful blue mix again, which again, if you watched last month's tutorial, it is 1/3 ammonia, 2/3 water, and then just a squirt of your standard blue dish liquid, national brand. And this is effective and safe on cleaning just about any materials. So when it comes to a piece like this, you'll have, especially if you're buying a lot of secondhand, you'll have little bits and bobs and pieces in there. And all you have to do is make sure that you get in there, start picking some of the bigger chunks out, drop it in and give it a good swirl. Now, if you do happen, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, to happen to have an ultrasonic or a steamer, that is, again, wonderful for cleaning things. But if you're just doing this at home, doing it lightly, doing it for fun, this is a very effective and easy way to do it. So this piece here had quite a bit of dirt and pieces and particles in it. We're going to give it a good little brush. And it will not take long to get something like this clean. However, you're kind of looking at this ring and you're giving me that sideways look and saying, well, yeah, it looks clean, but how come it still looks dark? Well, it's tarnished. So that second level is really what we're going to be addressing tonight, because essentially, if you haven't watched last time's show, the last tutorial on how to clean gold and silver, please go back and watch that, because that is going to be the first step on cleaning any kind of silver jewelry. Now, I will make a side note, I will make a warning. Do not clean your silver jewelry with your gold jewelry. You will see a large amount of crossover. You will see some damage to both pieces, gold and silver. So, when it comes to the tarnish level, and you can see this one's already looking better except for the little black pieces, little black spots caused by tarnish, it is essentially a very clean ring. So your question becomes, well, how do you clean tarnish? Well, there's multiples of different ways, and we're going to go through some of our favorites, some of our experiments, and everything else tonight. So stay tuned, and we're going to run through a little bit of all of them. All right, so one of our go-to standards is actually something like this, which is a sulfur-based cleaner. Now, sulfur is one of the easiest ways and quickest ways to remove tarnish from jewelry. It is not cheap. However, it is exceedingly effective. Now, tarnish like this is especially prevalent in areas where we reside, which are low-lying, high humidity, and also the level of pollution in your local area can affect the amount of tarnish that gets on your silver jewelry. So if you're in a major city that happens to be very humid for most of the year, you will see a significantly more amount of tarnish on a piece of silver than you will in, say, a dry, cool, clean environment. So it's just something we have to live with, and the price of what we pay. So we're going to drop this on in here. And this here, you can probably, if we get a close-up on it, see that it's already easily removing all these pieces of black tarnish in here. So hang on, I'm going to get you a closer look on this. I'm going to drop it right in there. Again, this is not a calm solution. This is an exceedingly aggressive formula. So do not leave it in for more than 30 seconds to a minute. As a matter of fact, one of the keys that we use to know when it's ready to come out is you will smell sulfur. It just puts off that incredibly strong sulfur rotten egg smell. So once you start to smell that, it's time to get it out. Voila. See, looking better already. So we're going to go through a couple other pieces. We're going to show you some of our other tips and tricks. And in the end, we're going to come back and show you some cool stuff. All right, I'm going to show you something cool with this one. Now I'm going to do monkey see, monkey don't. All right. When it comes to coins, please don't clean them. Honestly, the tarnish and all the other personality that comes to a coin comes with a tarnish, comes with a natural environment. The price and the value of the coin itself should not be messed with. I'm using this coin just because it's going to become a perfect example, and I want to show you exactly how this works. So we take this coin and we're going to dip it in halfway, and we're going to kind of let it sit just like this, mainly because I want to show you how fast and how effective it is. So, anyhow, I hope everybody is having a wonderful time, wonderful day. If you have any questions, we will be watching this. Unfortunately, we did have to make a decision technically to stop going live because we had so many technical issues, and we found it so much easier to record it and then put it on later. So one of the cool things is I'm watching this with you, and if you do have any questions, I will do my best to answer them live, if not in perfect timing. Voila. How about that? For a really cool line, and I can show you on the back, it's even more pronounced. Just by dipping it in this stuff, it completely removes and eradicates that level of tarnish. Right? Voila. Just thought that would be a really cool example of showing you what works, what doesn't work, etc., etc. All right, we're going to go on to a couple of our other favorites. The next one that we love is your standard Sunshine, other major name brand polishing cloth. Now, one of the things people really underestimate about these is that the more you use them, believe it or not, the better off they are, right? It's going to look black, it's going to look tarnished, and these are very effective on anything like necklaces. So we're going to take this, run it just one time through here, and amazingly, you can see the amount of tarnish and all the other particles that come off literally just with one stroke. So this is not going to take a long time in any kind of format to really get a good shine on a good necklace. Now, as everything here does, it has lots of benefits and sometimes negatives. The problem you're going to find with the negative on cleaning any kind of silver necklace, silver jewelry, is you're going to quickly find any weaknesses that you happen to have in that piece. So if there is a rip, if there's a tear, if there's a small break that you did not see, and you start giving it a good tug on this, you will break it. So make sure you examine your piece thoroughly before you run it through run it across the rag. Otherwise, you will end up with pieces that are no longer wearable. So, and here you go. Just to show you on the coin and polish it up one more time. Here's one of the tips and tricks that I've seen. Take this, and while it's flat, rub it straight against that rag. And you'd be amazed how just through a little effort, it polishes it almost the rest of the way through. It wouldn't take many seconds for me to finish up both sides, and voila, we have a pretty beautiful tarnish-free coin. Now, like I said, leave your coins alone. I just wanted to use this as a great example of how pretty simple stuff can make your silver jewelry. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Next one is a national brand. It is a simple tarnish remover. This does go along in the same theory as our sulfur base. Make sure that if you're going to use this, it does recommend using gloves or wearing gloves. It also recommends that use it in a well ventilated area. So do not get this in your eyes. Do not breathe this in. This is very caustic stuff. And voila, here you go. So again, the nice thing about the Tarnex is all you have to do is drop it in, and you can literally watch the tarnish start to peel away and move away from the silver. It's actually a very cool, very neat thing. However, again, do not leave it in there for too long. For the most part, I recommend between 30 seconds and 1 minute at most. If that doesn't work, pull it out, rinse it off, re-pour more Tarnex, and do it again. So you will have to almost sometimes pull tarnish off in layers. We did take in a federal coin silver teapot that was so bad it was black to the core. Seriously, black, even blacker than this, all the way through the teapot. And it took multiple tries and pulls at getting that nice and clean. So here you go. We're going to get you a better look at it. Voila. How does that look? See, it pulled all the tarnish off, and now it's ready to polish off. Now remember, like I said, what we're doing here is we're not polishing and we're not cleaning. All we are doing is removing the tarnish. Now there is a further step on all these pieces where you are actually trying to polish the item. Now that will go back to either using a Dremel or honestly using the blue rag. All right, so we got the next piece that we want to go to, which is going to be this heart here. This heart here is going to be fun. We have another national brand, and this one here is actually a quartz-based, right? So it's a sponge. Now, one warning about this stuff. This is actually wonderful if you've got a lot of time, because it does polish and remove the tarnish at the same time. Do not get it on your clothing. This will actually bleach your clothing white. So I do not know if there's a bleach alternative in here. However, every time I've accidentally gotten this on anything I've been wearing, I put it in the wash and got it out the next day, and voila, wherever it was had turned bright white. So either use an apron or use a shirt that you don't care as much about, simply because it will stain whatever it gets on if it's cloth. All right, so got it here for a couple minutes. This should be good enough to remove quite a bit of that tarnish. Drop it in our old cleansing solution. Give me 1 second. Yes, I know I just said that, and I'm using cloth to wipe it off my hands. Don't worry, I'm going to bleach these white. Give it a good little rinse, and you'll see all that chunky stuff kind of blowing out. This might take a few minutes, but only because the piece I chose is probably the worst possible piece to use rights on, but voila. Here we go. And, how's that look? Doesn't that look absolutely amazing? Now, again, I still have to go through and pull out and pick out a couple of those globs that are still in there, but it does an incredible job of polishing, removing the tarnish, and everything like that. All right, now we also have some other topical cleaners, and these range all the way across the board. I've seen these used, sold, etc., etc., etc. And let's pick a piece like this. Now, this is one that a friend of mine gave me, and with a couple of spritz, leave it on there for a couple minutes, and this actually should have the effect of allowing you to rub away, polish away any of the tarnish. And look at that, it does it. So something like this is kind of cool. You're going to have to try these out for yourself, see which one really works for you. I'm just kind of giving you a general overview of the different things and policies and everything else. All right, so next one we have is actually really kind of fun. It is, what if you have something larger? How do you handle something bigger like this? So if we have a piece which you do not want to take the time or has so much tarnish on it that it's really hard to mess with, there is a baking soda method. So we're going to show you that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to move a bunch of stuff over. All right, so this is going to involve our tinfoil covered whatever. Left, right. Perfect. All right, so you're going to take what pieces you want. And like I said, this is especially good for incredibly large pieces. So if you have candlesticks, if you have other ware that is much more difficult to work with, this is a good formula for it. Now, there is a downside, of course. There's always a positive and there's always a negative in any of these things. If it's a very severe tarnish, you're going to pit the surface of that material. So if it's very light tarnish or something in a medium tarnish, it's okay. When you start getting into a more deep, dark tarnish, that might be something you want to remove a little bit at first, because otherwise, honestly, you're going to run into tarnishing your items. So what you're going to need to do is take boiling hot water, which I happen to have, pour on in there, cover up as much of the material as you can, because if it's not covered in it, it's not going to be effective. It's okay, we still got a little bit sticking out. I'm going to move it this way. Got it. And then literally all you're going to do is take a box of baking soda and give it a good pour in, right? Just a little bit more for effect. Right? Baking soda is one of those all natural cleaners. Now it is going to put off a bit of an odor, but you can give it a good stir, move things around, and see how much of this tarnish is going to come off. You can already tell the liquid itself is turning super, super dark, super brown as it's pulling the tarnish off of these pieces. And literally all this is tinfoil and baking soda with hot water, right? So, voila. Now you notice it didn't get everything. I probably did not either leave it in here for as long, or it needs a good second bathing on this. But the one good thing about this is when they're in this condition, it becomes a lot easier for you to use your rag and remove what pieces are left. Remove the tarnish that's still on there. So if we take this and rub it just a hair, voila. I mean, and I'm barely touching this. So what that allows you to do is it takes the tarnish a little bit off the surface and allows you to polish up and clean what's left over. So, voila. All right. So these are a lot of your really cool methods. Hey, while we're at it, you know what? I'm going to pull this silver bracelet out and show that off. Same kind of thing. And yes, after dealing with jewelry for years, my fingers are immune to heat and cuts and everything else. But, voila. How's that for making it nice and sparkly and clean? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to go in back. We're going to polish a couple of the pieces off that we showed. And we're going to show, after a good polish, a good tarnish remover, how good you can get secondhand, pre-owned, pre-loved jewelry to look at home. All right, we'll be right back. Well, hello and welcome back. And here we have our finished product. Now, like I said, we didn't go through everything, but we wanted to give you a couple different tips and tricks and methods of how to remove tarnish and how to clean and care for your silver jewelry. And as you can see, we got done, and some of these pieces are absolutely beautiful. Now, again, like I said, do not clean your silver coins. The reason why I picked this particular coin is it doesn't have any numismatic or coin value to it. And honestly, it was a truly perfect medium for showing that divining line, that perfect line across of how to clean and how to get silver, not just coins, but jewelry, beautifully, beautifully clean. We'll go through a couple of the other pieces. I want to show you our super black. Now, you'll notice I did miss a few pieces, but on the larger pieces, it's going to take a lot more effort. You're going to have to use your blue rag, use your Dremel, use any of your polishing methods in order to get those last few touches. But right here in the primary area, you can tell this piece came out absolutely beautifully. So if this was a finished candlestick versus what it is right now, this piece would be ready, sparkling, and raring to go and look beautiful in your collection. Go through a couple of the other ones. Got our nice little bead necklace, which I always like these bead necklaces. These were always really kind of cool. And this one here, after running it through the rag, running it through the cleaning solution, not only removed that tarnish, but also sparkled it up to just a fine finish polish, which is absolutely incredible. All right. Show you the ring. And I forgot to tell you about this ring. Actually, this ring is real diamonds in real silver. So this is the kind of mediums that you can use on different stones. But please, again, remember back to our tutorial on cleaning gold. The same lessons apply here when you're dealing with stones. What you're looking for are clear, red, and blue. Those are going to be your harder stones. And in silver, it's going to apply quite as much. Now, when it comes to any kind of white stones, you do have to be more delicate. When it comes to pearls and opals, you have to be especially delicate. And when you get into some of the weirder, odder ones, please make sure you do your research about that particular stone and what it takes to care for that stone, not just for your silver. But for the most part, if you have a clear, red, or blue stone in silver, most any of all these methods are going to be very effective and perfect for your needs. We're going to go to, here you go. I love the way this one turned out. Check out the beauty on this turquoise style ring, right? It doesn't even look like the same piece. It just really revitalized the finished piece. It really makes it look like it came just straight off a jeweler's lot. Something like this that's cool and easy that you can do at home with nothing but simple procedures, simple policies, a polishing rag, and really make them look beautiful for you. So check out our last couple pieces. Bracelet, the heart, very, very cool. Now, one last note is if you did watch the other video, and if you haven't, please go back and watch us. And if you are on YouTube, please like and share us. If you've stuck with me for this long, please, I think we've earned it. But the one thing that we do on gold that we never do on silver is we finish it off in a rubbing alcohol. Now, unfortunately, if you put silver in rubbing alcohol, what it does is automatically tarnish it. In fact, I could take any one of these pieces, put it in rubbing alcohol for no more than 30 minutes. Which normally in gold would be fine. I've left pieces of gold in rubbing alcohol for literally a week doing an experiment. But if you put it in there for more than 30 minutes, it will be black as when this thing started, and it doesn't matter how cool, neat, or pristine it looked when you started. So avoid any kind of rubbing alcohol, avoid any kind of dirty water in the cleansing, use as clean of a water as you can get, and that will really, really help produce and get these vibrant, brilliant, sparkling results. Now, As always, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking your time and allowing us to come into your lives, into your homes. And as always, that smile looks good on you. And if you need something, give us a call. Until next time.
Everlasting and true, it's all because of you. That smile sure looks good on you. That smile sure looks good